tag me later.
Yeah.
And you're halfway out of the camera.
Look, it's Facebook. You know they do the stupid straight up and down thing. What up? What up? This your boy Twink, CEO and Secret of the world's #1 inspiration and motivational urban streetwear brand.
And Anna Johnson, CEO of Secret Life Coaching.
Welcome to Secret Society Sunday episode.
I totally forgot.
Me too. That's why I stuttered because
we're almost at 40.
I don't think I changed the number. I could change it. So episode 39.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, we getting up there with these, baby. We doing them.
Yeah.
We doing them.
Looking forward to 100.
Oh my.
We're almost halfway there.
I guess.
Yeah.
So the topic for today is trust issues. Mm-hmm. We literally just finished wrapping up the podcast, and that was the topic that we discussed on the podcast today. Was trust issues. So you want to dabble on that? What we touched on a little bit. Why trust issues?
Well, the question is, when you talk about trust issues, we're talking about the most valuable relationship.
Yeah,
most valuable relationship. A lot of people will try to work on trust in their marriage and their relationships, but very few people actually work on developing their trust in God. Right. And this trust issue thing is ancient. It goes way back. So why would we think that we would have any different issue? So It was the same issue that Eve had. Like, she didn't really trust the word of God. So what did she do?
Screw it up for
She entertained another thought.
You messed it up for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked. We touched on what it's like when we don't have trust issues, what it's called when we don't trust Yah. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I like what you said. You said we're basically making ourselves God.
Yeah. It's a very proud thought.
Right. It's a prideful thing.
When you think you can't trust God. Because to know God is to trust Him. So if you feel like you can't trust Him, that's a very proud thought. But we're not saying these things to condemn you. We're actually saying these things to encourage you. Because we all have different areas that we could trust Him more in. So some of you be like, Anna, I don't have trust issues. I trust God for this, this, and that. I assure you, if you sit and you pause for a few minutes and really think, there are some places that you've not given to God.
Right.
There's some places that you do not trust Him. You see that alert right there?
That's Elijah calling.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah.
So our son is calling us.
Yeah, so we're trusting that Yah is going to take care of him when we finish this up.
When we're alive.
So, yes, hallelujah. It's probably just hungry.
Yeah. So, do you have trust issues? Are you putting your faith in the Father? You ready to call him?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can hear that buzzing. That buzzing was probably loud.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, oh my gosh, she called me back. So we hope everything's okay, y'all.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just being aggressive.
Yeah.
Assertive. He's being assertive.
Look, he's calling again. Are you calling him?
I'm calling him. Yeah. And it's busy because he keeps calling you.
He keeps calling me. So I hope we don't have to end this because he just not stopping calling me.
Oh, that's ringing up. Yeah.
So, so back to what we're saying. You have to put all complete trust in Him. And we were even talking about how the Israelites, you know what I mean? Yah would bless them and do certain things, but then what? You know what I mean? They would instantly have trust issues with Him. It's like, oh, we might as well go back to Egypt. You didn't do this and that. I mean, you have to look at the miracles and everything that He was continuing to do for them. Even it's like, after He parted the doggone Red Sea, after seeing something like that, who would have trust issues with someone? You know what I'm saying? But they still did.
And we need to stop lying to ourselves and saying we're trusting Him, because we cannot get better if we keep lying to ourselves saying we trust Him.
Right.
You know,
and that's exactly what you're doing. You're lying to yourself.
If you trust Him, then you're going to give Him everything. Like, I have surrendered everything that I can think of today, but I'm sure there will be more things that He reveals to me. But we need to be surrendering everything. What do you want my career to be? Who do you want me to marry? How do you want me to eat? I guess I got to work on surrendering that a little more deeper. How do you want me to eat? What do you want me to watch? What do you want me to do? You know, how many kids do you want me to have, right? Like, some people don't want to surrender that.
Oh, people, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
like,
if
you trust him, why are you holding things for yourself? If you trust him. And honestly, like, why wouldn't you trust him? Because he's perfect.
Yeah. In every way.
Absolutely perfect.
In every way.
There's no failure connected with him.
But if you want to hear more, we really got deep in the podcast on this, so that's why we're pretty much dry right now.
Yeah,
we pour it out in the podcast. So
right.
I'm gonna put the link below. No, I'm not. I'm lying because the podcast won't come out till next week, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's gonna be on video.
It'll be in the link in the future.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what we're just going to encourage you guys to do today is to trust him, and the way that you trust him is just change your mind about the things that you didn't trust him in before. So if you're like, oh, well, God's not going to do that for me. Like, no, God is able and willing to do it for me. I'm trusting that he can do it.
Yeah.
Some of you are just holding back to things because trusting is uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. And that's what he calls us to do.
And it's not his job. Like, it's not his job to make us trust him. That's not relationships. That's not how it works. Trust is you deciding that you're going to put your confidence in him as a God. Like, he's a perfect God. You're going to put your confidence in him, nobody else, nothing else. And
you're going to trust him with everything.
And he'll meet you in the middle.
And what was it you said before? We said trusting him is not instant. It's not what you can see instant or right now. It's something down the road, things that you can't see. It's not trust if you have to see it. Yeah. It's not trust if you have to see it. It's not trust if you have to see it.
And if you have to see it fast.
Yeah.
So like, you're like, well, I trusted God and he still didn't answer my prayers. Well, no, if your trust can be swayed that quickly and easily, it's not authentic.
Yeah. It's been 2 days.
It's been 10 years. So what?
So what? Oh man,
I have
been in that 10-year thing with him.
You're still in some years. Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
So what? Are you gonna let?
But Anna.
Are you gonna let your circumstances define whether you trust him or not?
I'm telling you. Speak it. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's work out our trust issues. Like I said, it's a human issue.
Yes.
And that's what we have to overcome daily. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. Mr. Johnson here is not perfect.
I'm not.
And you certainly are not perfect. None of us are perfect. I'm pretty confident of that one. And I'm pretty confident.
I thought I was Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same sin that Adam and Eve wrestled with. Mm-hmm. Like Adam, like he really thought he could get away with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he tried to put it on Eve. Come on.
The woman you gave me.
So are you going to trust the word of your wife, or are you going to trust the word of me? Is what God is saying.
Yeah.
Are you going to trust the word of like what other people have said about you, or what they said was possible or impossible in your life, or are you going to trust him and his word?
Right.
We all have promises that God has for us. We're going to have to slay some giants.
Yes.
We're going to have to put our trust and our confidence in him. We're going to have to be bold and brave and courageous. But we are able.
Yeah.
So just change your mind. You may have to change your mind 1,000 times a day, but change your mind. That's what repentance is. Change your mind.
And trust him. You got to trust him.
Yeah.
You boo-boo the fool if you don't trust him.
Well, we've all been a fool then.
Yeah.
We've all been foolish at some point in time.
Boo-boo the fool.
But the great thing about it is we can turn it around. We can change our mind.
Yes.
Change your mind.
Never too late.
And not only change your thinking, but say it out loud. Like, wait a minute, I'm not going to think like that. Like, he can do this in my life.
Right up.
This is, sometimes some of you, I feel like some of you may be hearing this lie, like, this is just the end. Like, this is just the way I'm going to live and I'm going to die. And that's it. Things are never going to get better. That's a lie.
Right.
That's
You're pretty much cursing yourself when you say stuff like that.
Don't go in agreement with the lies.
That's a curse.
Yeah.
You're cursing yourself.
Know who God is and overcome. Know who God is. Know who God is, and to know him is to trust him. Right. If you know him, you will trust him. So, when God called us to do some of this radical stuff, we had already been developing our relationship with him. Yeah. I know, at least for me, like I had been praying and having fellowship with him. And so when he had called me to do something that was radical, like leaving 8 years of college behind me, I was able to do it.
You didn't have to question, is this your voice? I mean,
no, like I trusted him.
Yeah, you trusted him.
And it wasn't easy. I mean, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that the action is easy. I'm not saying that the action is comfortable. Right. You can choose to trust him and be uncomfortable.
In my 10 years of college.
Well, it didn't. Mine actually equaled into a career.
A degree.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Whew.
I built my whole future based upon doing these things in the natural, and then God calls me to surrender those things and let him build some things in my life. Yeah. And that's the same thing he wants to do for you.
I see, the funny thing is you still had to do that part in the natural because there were still things that you needed along that journey. You know what I'm saying?
He uses all things work
so we have to do our things.
So like, honestly, like even when we make mistakes, he works in all of that. He works in all of those mistakes, and he's able to turn all things around for the good. Yeah. All things work for the good of those who serve him. Right. All things work for the good of those who serve him. And some people are like hating like the things that they've been through, but that's your testimony. Yeah. And don't ever hate your testimony. Your testimony because the word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the testimony of our faith. Mm. So that's like wanting to take that overcoming away from you.
Word up.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that.
Word up.
So listen, before you go out and you're trusting people, why don't you first put your trust and your confidence in him? Yes. Yahweh will see you through. Yes, he. But you've got to build that bridge. Build the bridge. And this is a high bridge. Mm. And it can look dangerous. It can look dangerous. Okay?
It sounds dangerous.
Yeah, but build the bridge. Build it. And in the midst of you building, he'll meet you in the middle. Yeah. He knows what you're made of. He knows what you can do. I
don't know. Y'all usually meet you near the end because you think, really think about it. When we do things and we think it's last minute, but it's always his perfect timing.
It was on time.
Yeah, it's always his perfect timing. So we're looking at things and we're like, man, y'all showed up at the last minute. No, it wasn't the last minute.
But what I'm saying
it was his perfect timing. Now, I got what you're saying.
While you're building, you are closer to him than you can have ever imagined. Right. He knows our limitations.
Word up.
So he's going to meet you in your building. But it's going to be, it's a good point. Like it's going to be when it gets to the end of you. When it gets to the end of us, right. In our strength, in our weakness, he is made strong. And that's where we see him manifest. Yeah. In our weaknesses, not in our strengths. And some people are just too proud to put away their strength. They want to operate in their strength. They want their strength.
I can do this.
They want to hold on to their strength. Yeah. But that's putting trust and confidence in yourself and not.
That's that pride thing that she was talking about.
Go to those places you're not good at. Yeah. And trusting that he calls us to do the things that, we lost everything.
Yeah. We didn't lose.
Well, we surrendered. Yeah. We did surrender. That's what I mean by lost. Yeah. We had to surrender. He didn't take. Let it go. He didn't take those things from us. Actually,
he gave us the option.
Yeah, we got to partner. Listen, some of you have been missing out on a great opportunity to partner with him.
Really think about that. If y'all comes to you and say, leave your job. I want you to leave your job. Leave your house. Get rid of everything you own.
And don't look back.
What would you do? What would you do? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he told us to do. And we was like, hey.
But ours started with the question. And we looked to God. And we were like, we know that there's better. Mm-hmm. Like, what do we need to do? We looked to him. We went to him and we said, what do we need to do? Right. And he started giving us the map. Yep. And we responded to that map. Like, the instructions, you want to soar, you want to get off the ground, you're too heavy. Yeah. You're going to have to decrease.
You need to let go of some weight in order to soar.
Yeah, and so we were...
That's funny, because I had an idea to bring that design back, that soar design.
So we were decreasing in the natural, but little did we know, we were also decreasing in the spiritual. We were putting away mindsets that wouldn't allow us to go to spiritual places. Right. We were putting away things in the flesh that had to die so that God's will and purpose could prevail in our lives. Yeah. So there's so much that is won in trusting him. And it's not a comfortable experience. Don't get me wrong.
It ain't comfortable at all.
And it looks like insanity sometimes.
Yeah. But when does he ever call us to be comfortable?
And it also can look like failure. It can look a lot like failure.
Especially to people on the outside looking in. Shoot, especially to us sometimes. I mean, we've had our times. You're like,
and it can look like weakness. It can look like weakness. It can look like you're putting on weakness. No, we are decreasing that Yah may abound and increase within us, and that He can be our strength, and no longer our strength will fail us, but His strength never fails. Never fails.
Never.
So I just pray that my trust in Him will grow. I pray that your trust in Him will grow. I pray that your trust in Him will grow.
It's going to grow. It's always growing.
And we have to change our minds daily sometimes. Like sometimes sometimes circumstances will talk to us. And they'll say, this thing's impossible. And then you have to say, wait a minute, what does God say about this? And He may say, no, I'm not. It's not. But for Him, it is never an impossible.
Never.
Nothing's impossible. But He may say, that's not my will and purpose. And we'll be like, well, I trust you, God. So I'm going to leave that alone.
We have to trust Him.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
We can't.
For example, some people marry.
We're going in too deep on this thing.
Some people marry the wrong person because they don't trust that God knows what He's talking about. Okay, so God may say, you may pray to God, and you're like, okay, I'm going to trust God, and you may get a word or different. He may be sending different signs to you that you shouldn't marry this person, but you don't trust that He'll bring the right person. So what do? You basically handcuff yourself to somebody that is going to run you through the mud.
Yes.
I've seen it time and time again.
Run you through the mud and run over you in the
mud.
And
in the beginning, you couldn't find anything wrong with this guy. Or this woman. Or this woman. they may have been a nice person. They may have loved you.
Because they said they're representative. You didn't really meet them. Yeah. I said it all the time. When you meet somebody, you don't meet them. You meet their representative.
We're not even going to get into that. That's another subject.
That's a whole other subject.
Yeah, so...
You met the real me, baby, when you met me.
Yeah, you've always been real.
Yeah. I ain't a representative.
He couldn't be a representative. He tried to. But
my representative was jacked up.
Yes. He ain't lying. But you know what? Man. Honestly, that goes back to how we ended up together.
Yeah.
Remember? Because God had shown me He's the one. And in my ignorance, I'm like, He can't be the one. And God said, no, He's the one. And I'm like, no, He does not hit any of the criteria. He I'm praying for husband. And
I'm drinking,
he's drinking, smoking. He hasn't even established a foundation for his own life.
No. It wasn't time yet. I was still
no. So what I'm saying, where it says that God can use the foolish things to confound the wise, I was really confounded. I'm like, this dude, here I am working on a master's degree. He ain't got nothing together.
I was working on my street degree still. I have my street degree.
But Mr. Johnson's been one of the greatest blessings I've had. So, now listen, I'm not saying to ignore these red flags, okay? If you're looking for a partner.
You got some red flags.
This is a miracle right here, okay? A miracle.
She had a bunch of red flags going on. You know how you're driving in your car, have the lights coming on?
But I knew the voice. This is the other thing. I understood the voice of God.
Right.
And I had been praying for a husband, and this was a thought outside of me. I didn't want him to be my person because he didn't have the criteria. Mm-hmm. But God said, no, He's the one. And I trusted that. I trusted that voice.
Regardless of what the outside looked like.
And here we are, 18 years later.
How many?
18.
You sure?
Yeah, 18 years later. Here we are 18 years later, and I'm now seeing the results of that. Like, I'm a polished person that loves the Father who's brought me to truth and all of these things. And it took a long time. Don't get all right there. All glory be to the Most High.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to kill the pride. Kill it. Anyway, so anyway, listen, y'all. Don't try to understand the things of God.
No, don't.
Just trust Him. Trust Him. Yes, so that's it. And if you have problems with trust issues, please book a session with me. Let's work this thing out.
Do it.
Let's work this thing out.
I'll drop the link below.
Let's work this thing out so that you can get on to the promises. Hallelujah. Yeah. That's all I got to say. I'm going to go.
You said a lot.
I'm going to go home.
Dog.
I'm going home. I'm finished.
Hey, yo, so next week the podcast will be out. Gary said when we dive deep more into trusting, but
more scripture in the other one.
Yeah, a lot more scripture. a more in-depth and more detailed stuff.
You really want to, like, if you're eager to figure, like, to kind of get in that mindset, go ahead and look at Numbers chapter 13, because we're referencing to, like, the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, and they're getting ready to cross. They're told to go scout out the land.
Yeah, Joshua and
you
Caleb.
get to decide, are you going to be a Joshua and a Caleb, or are you going to be like the majority who was like, all they could see was all the potential things of why they couldn't.
We really got into
why
that
they couldn't
in the
trust
podcast
God.
too, so yeah.
They seriously didn't trust God even after they saw all those miracles.
No.
And you can look at Joshua 14.
Girl, no, don't give them nothing else to look at. Listen to the podcast if you want to know what to look at. All right?
Pray for him.
No, we ain't doing this.
I am not going to let the little children not eat because you're doing
No, they can eat. You want to eat? Go look at the listen to the podcast. That's right. We giving y'all some appetizer right now, so you better proportion your appetizer out. Okay?
Yeah. Meditate on these things, y'all. Meditate on them. Seriously, change your mind. If there's an area that you haven't been trusting the Father, the way to repent is to change your mind. Say, Father, I've been off on this thinking. Forgive me. I know that I need to trust you.
Right.
And I'm just going to change my mind. You are trustworthy in all areas of my life. I can give it all to you. I can trust you. And you don't have to feel it. You just got to believe it. Make it your truth and honor your truth. Right. There's two things. Make it your truth and honor your truth.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times the enemy will manipulate our feelings to let that become our truth. Our feelings are not our truth.
No.
His word is truth. And if his word says he's trustworthy in all things,
trust our feelings.
If his word says he's trustworthy in all things, then he is trustworthy in all things. And we've got to stop getting played by our flesh.
And trust is not a feeling. Trust in God is not a feeling.
It's a belief. It's a mindset.
It's faith.
It's a mindset and a heart posture. Thank you for saying that. Trust is a mindset and a heart posture. Mm-hmm. And the mindset is he is trustworthy, and the heart posture is I look to you for all things. I know that you are worthy.
Right.
And sometimes our heart posture is it's me. Mm-hmm. I don't feel comfortable doing this, or I don't want to do that. That's unholy.
Right.
And we just need to submit our heart to him and align our minds with heaven, and we are good to go.
Good to go.
Yeah. Sounds easy. It's hard.
Yeah.
So simple, it's hard.
Easy.
So that is it.
That's it.
All right. Hallelujah.
So, all right, y'all. So, yeah, like we said.
Till next time.
Yeah. Till next time, live our secret. Peace.
Shalom.